Don Link is your buying. Welcome to the show. Because you're doing well, because having a wonderful day. On this 29th June 2025, we have a delicious drink over here. Amazing weather behind me. Here. Also, here. Can you zoom in? It's not great, but it's not bad. Today, we are talking about Kingdom Freaking Heart. And yes, Kingdom Heart, I did a lot of videos on them. There's been a lot of recent news on Kingdom Heart. I gotta say, I'm not part of the community, so I don't keep up with the news. Um, with that, I felt the need to imply myself, felt the need to give my opinion, even though I'm a nobody, pun intended. Organization 14, Mr. 14. I felt the need to give my opinion. So before we start, I want to establish myself as a Kingdom Hearts fan for a couple of reasons. People are gonna say, "Oh, you're just cloud chasing out of the news," but no, I'm actually really closely involved with Kingdom Hearts. Not as a worker, not as a content creator, but as a human being. If you look at one of my tattoos, you got this one, which is what? A heartless. Yes. Kingdom Hearts is the first game that I had a crush on was Ocarina of Time. It was the very first game that I had a crush on. The second game that I had a crush on was some Final Fantasy. However, I think it's important, very important actually, to talk about the very first series I fell in love with. You see, most of the games that I was playing, I wasn't a very good gamer, and I wasn't the one with the most games. So Final Fantasy, I didn't have all the games. Devil May Cry didn't have all the games. Jack and Dexter, I had all the games, but it was only 3 games, so it wasn't really a series. And if I'm being completely honest, Jack and Dexter, I liked the first game, I liked the second game, I didn't like the third one, and even the first one, I liked the gameplay, I didn't like the story. Other that are worth mentioning was Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank, I fucking love that. I fucking loved it. However, Ratchet and Clank, I didn't play Ratchet. I didn't play Size Matters, so I stopped playing. I played a 3 on the PS2, which I fucking love. But Kingdom Heart was the very first series I fell in love with, and I became obsessed with it. See, for Ratchet and Clank, it could have been the first one. However, it wasn't something that I was obsessed with. Kingdom Heart, I was obsessed. See, I told you guys about my favorite game when I was younger. It was Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, and I did a video about this not too long ago, about my favorite game, musically speaking. Kingdom Heart and Ocarina of Time were on it. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask was one of my favorite game, if not my favorite game, as a child. I had to put in Pokemon Silver also. Even the Pokemon games as a series, I didn't really partake. I played Yellow, I played Silver, I played Emerald, I played Diamond, I played White and Black and White. I didn't play Black and White 2. I didn't play Sun and Moon. I didn't play X and Y. I didn't play. I own Sword and Shield, and I'm gonna be playing Scarlet Violet, but I don't own all of the other games that I mentioned, which means that I completely missed on the Mega Evolution. It's crazy. So yeah, so Kingdom Heart. How did I fall in love with Kingdom Heart? It was super simple. I was discovering RPG. So as a kid, I had a really hard time controlling my ADHD, which is still the case, but a lot of a harder time. And I remember playing a lot of games that were shooting and things like that. And as a kid, I didn't really understand the management of, you know. And then the game that changed my life was Final Fantasy IV. For a couple of reasons. It was the very first RPG that I played. To me, Pokemon was an RPG. Older, I can actually say that Pokemon was an RPG. But to me, Pokemon didn't feel like an RPG. Why? It's actually pretty simple. Because I didn't know what an RPG was. Final Fantasy was my very first turn-based RPG, and I'm like multiple characters, and they all have a story. The fourth was the best one because I started learning English. I was 13. I played Final Fantasy IV at 14. One of the first game where I really cared about the story. Oh, I remember being obsessed. I was playing at night. I did that with Pokemon Silver too. I had a flashlight in my mouth. I had a cover over my head, and I was playing. Never did that for a book. Never did that for anything else. My apologies. So it was really, and I mean really, something. So we're talking about Kingdom Hearts. Well, because of Final Fantasy IV, I fell in love with RPG. There was such a charm to having something super weak and then growing stronger, and then saving the world. I have to mention special mention games like Golden Sun. I have to special mention games like Dragon Quest VIII was really good. I have to mention games like what should we call it? There was a lot of games that I turn based that I played. A lot of games. And then I was stuck in between two worlds. The Ratchet and Clank, the Jack and Daxter, which was I was a big fan of, and Final Fantasy, which was I was a big fan of. And then Kingdom Hearts happened. The way Kingdom Hearts came into my life was one of my, oh my god, my mom, I was always my mother's baby boy. So even at 12 and 13 years old, I had a daycare. I had a, like, not a nanny, but she was like, you know when you go at a party and you hired a young high school girl or cégep girl and say, hey, take care of my kids, we're gonna go out? My babysitter. And yeah, I had a babysitter. And she was cool. She brought me, she was like super into Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh man, she was cool. She was into Evanescence, Yu-Gi-Oh! And she was a goth. And then what happened was, she introduced me to Kingdom Hearts. And I have never, ever. And the cool thing with her is, she was someone that I trusted, but she was always also going through the same thing. She introduced me to Final Fantasy X. It was her favorite game. And she introduced me to Kingdom Hearts. Why I fell in love with Kingdom Hearts was, I was born in the 90s, so Disney movie, I watched them. The first game is what? The first game is Alice in Wonderland, it is Hercules, it is Tarzan, then it is Aladdin, then it's Monstro, then it is Nightmare Before Christmas, and then it's Raging Garden, which is Maleficent. And I just fell in love, but it was also the fact that the gameplay, there was nothing like the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts. The gameplay of Kingdom Hearts was elements of a action slasher, an action game, and the RPG elements. So I was like, holy shit. Even then, we're gonna move away from Kingdom Hearts for a couple seconds. One of my favorite game ever is Borderlands 2. And in Borderlands 2, you switch from the RPG, base turn-based combat, but it's still an RPG. You get skill trees, you get level up. So with Kingdom Hearts, I really fell in love with it. And at first, I had a problem. I didn't speak a lot of English, but, you know, the gameplay was so fun. And Kingdom Hearts 1 came in, and my favorite game. It's a funny thing, I defeated Maleficent, and I didn't know what to do after. So I restarted the game. Just Kingdom Hearts was such a beautiful game. The fact that you went to worlds, it was... I grew up playing... One of the first games that I played was Super Mario 64. Where you would jump into portraits in a different world. You had different world. They all had a story. They all had a Keyblade. You know? They all had a big boss. It was really cool. So I really fell in love with Kingdom Hearts. Moving on from that, I really fell in love, but again, I wasn't super. For example, when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, I didn't even know that it came out. You know? And to me, it was just a game that was fun to play. Like, and this is so weird because I had a choice between a game that I understood and a game that I didn't understand. I didn't really understand what was going on in Kingdom Hearts. But I like to play. I like to start a game, to just play a world and just fight my way through the boss battles. It was fun. And then I grew up. I learned a lot of English. That's when I really started playing Kingdom Hearts. The first one, the second one. Then I got really involved into Kingdom Hearts, and I got obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. But at that time, it was easy to get obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. The game that I played was Chain of Memories on the GBA, which was phenomenal. I played 356 Day, which was shitty. It was so shitty. The gameplay was so shitty. I remember playing that on the DS. I broke my DS in 5 months. And one of the games that I played was Kingdom Hearts Chain under the 56 Day. The gameplay was just bad. Just the graphics, it was unbearable. Then you had the story of Scion. And then, of course, I got a PSP. And the reason I got a PSP was to play for Bird by Sleep. And to me, again, with the phone is too hot, dude. The phone is too hot. I'm so tired of that. 11%. So what I'm gonna do, instead of waiting, I'm gonna charge it a little bit. Oh. My sanctuary now. Music will die. My sanctuary now. I was really involved with those games. You wanna know why I was obsessed? I was born in 93, okay? We didn't have Wi-Fi. Most people didn't have internet. True story. I finally got Wi-Fi at home. I would watch, this is a true story, AMV of Kingdom Hearts. I would watch complete cutscene. And the problem with Kingdom Hearts was I would watch every single game. I remember playing Pokemon Silver and watching Bird by Sleep, the cutscenes, watching the first game, Kingdom Hearts, watching, and it was all, what I loved about Kingdom Hearts was, it was all voiced. That was the game that I played, but it was a kid, it wasn't voiced. Like the Final Fantasy, they weren't voiced. The Pokemon, they weren't voiced. This was a really cool game, and it was the fact that I got, see, Kingdom Hearts, I was at my mom 2 days out of 14. Most of the time, I wasn't at my mom's, I was at my father's. My father, I had a Nintendo 64. I was obsessed with those games. I would watch Linkin Park. And this is how, EMV, and this is how I knew about Bird by Sleep. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that existed. Bird by Sleep was one of the best games, though. My favorite will be 2, Bird by Sleep, then the first one. Then I'm gonna have to play Chain of Memories. Chain of Memories is, the story is good, the gameplay I don't like it. However, I'll be honest and say I didn't like it on the PS2, but I loved it on the GBA. The old graphics, how shitty it is, how shitty it looks. It was just really fun. It was just really fun. It was a good game. I gotta say, it's still a good game. It is still a very, very good game. But then, with good time came bad time. I got really lucky. My father bought me a PS3. I could play the games. Then I was playing all the games. I had an emulator to play. I had an emulator to play the Chain of Memories, and I had every single other games. The only one I was missing was Chain of Memories. But I had every other games, which was kind of cool. So then, what ended up happening is I started waiting, and then by the time I waited, my whole life changed. I was at my father's house. We were watching. Just imagine, I love Kingdom Hearts so much that we spent the entirety of, I think it was a day, watching all the movies, and then I waited for the fourth, and then Dream Drop Distance. Then it was on the 3DS, and I didn't have a 3DS. Then dropped. It was so fucked up. It was so fucked up. Kingdom Hearts felt like the game that I loved the most, and then slowly, very slowly, but became one of the series that I hate the most. Yeah. See, when I talk about the games, right? 356 Days, you can forget about it. Chain of Memories, it's cool, but does it really involve itself in the story? A little bit. So you got most of the members of the 13th who dies, first of all. Second of all, you have why Sora lost all of his memories. Second of all, you got the introduction of the nobodies, which is important. But most of all, why is that so important? Well, technically speaking, introduction of the nobodies was in the second one. But when you look at the second one, you got actual enemies that are nobodies. And Chain of Memories, you're fighting against Heartless. The Heartless, yes, they're serving the organization, but there's nobodies, you know? Even Bird by Sleep, we introduced, what was it? The Nightmares? They introduced the Nightmares, which was great. But did it serve a purpose other than just be the new monster? No. Even Dream Drop Distance, you could play with the monster, you can capture them, which was really nice. But what I'm trying to say is, it got so complicated. And the reason why I hated Kingdom Hearts so much, I started hating it so much. Like in between, think about it. Think this is my life story. I started playing Kingdom Hearts. I'm 13 years old. I fall in love with Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 2 every single year, right? Then I get a little bit of money. Myself Bird by Sleep, right? Then I learn about emulators. I started playing Chain of Memories. I started playing 356 56 days I had it. But again, I replayed it because I broke my DS. Right? So all of this, this long life, I had to get a wire. Is that 8%? I don't think it's gonna last, but I don't care. If it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't last, it doesn't last. You know? It's not a big deal. Because when you think about those games, right? Second one, great. First one, great. In my opinion, the second one is a masterpiece. And I'm going to tell you a secret. After the second one, I didn't have Final Mix. Final Mix is 100 times better. But My Sleep was also good, but not as great as the other one. Finally, 58 days. See, 358 days, story-wise, is one of the most interesting. The simple fact that we have a playthrough with Riku and a playthrough with Sora, I love this. And then Dream Drop Distance. And Dream Drop Distance really was the first nod, the first knock on my love for Final Fantasy, for Kingdom Hearts. Why? Because the whole game felt pointless. The entire game felt pointless. Except for one thing, the Mark of Mastery. Except for a second thing, Leah becoming a Keyblade Master. That's the only thing that you should retain. Then they start releasing a movie, and if you had to play the movie, then they start releasing mobile game that you had to play. Understand the story. It was just so complex, but it was just like so much time. And they didn't release Kingdom Hearts 3. They didn't release it. I finally got my hand on Kingdom Hearts 3. I was so happy. I was like, I waited for 10 years for this. And the first thing that they do, and it's a funny thing, they write, "Welcome to Kingdom Hearts 2.9. Just to show, we release Sony games. It's a big fuck you. Because yes, you release a lot of games, but you ask for a lot of money, you know? You could have said 3, and then 3 was supposed to be the last one. Well, 3, guess what? You have a DLC. Memories, Chain of Memories. No, something Memories. And you have to buy it. And you have to buy the Kingdom Hearts 4. And then there's a game, which is Decoder of Darkness. That was just cancelled. That's why we're making this video, right? The Decoder of Darkness. The whole thing. See, another thing that I didn't like was how convoluted. So, for example, there's this game, right, which is 2.8, which is special, which is Aqua. At the end of Bird by Sleep, she ends up being in the realm of darkness, just like Riku did, just like to save Ventus. She ended up doing that, you know? And the whole point of that, you're seeing her get controlled. We never heard her get controlled. She was supposed to be the chosen one, you know? Bird by Sleep was amazing, though. Terra being chosen by Xehanort, Xehanort to control him. Really good. Ventus being a product of experiment. Really good. Right? And then even then you see most of the organization 13 members as kid. It was really cool. The passing of the Keyblade, how Sora wasn't really chosen, Riku was chosen, but Sora was also chosen. You know? It was really cool. All of those games, shit. Had a meaning. They had a meaning. And then they stopped playing it. See, with Kingdom Hearts, so much wasted potential. My biggest problem with Kingdom Hearts was, it's not wasted potential because you didn't have enough. Wasted potential because you wanted too much. Keep the game that I mentioned. Forget Dream Drop Distance. Forget Decoded. I didn't even talk about Recoded. Because I never played that game. I didn't care about it. And it just felt like game to get money. It just felt like a agenda. Oh, the phone closed. So, shit. Shit, lemon. It's not bad. It's bad because I want to make the video. Okay. I'll finish it quickly. Fuck, I have to do these videos too. God damn it. Yeah, I'll do Silver in Blood. We'll do a part 2.